couple of months ago I was walking back from a photo shoot. It was very late at night, in fact it was the early hours of the morning. I was walking over wet rocks, I slipped and I fell and I landed on my poor little Nikon Z50. Didn't really think anything of it at the time. The next morning, pick the camera up, take the SD card out of it, obviously switch the camera on to reset settings to what I was likely to use next time I pick the camera up, and I got this error message. So this is the error message I'm getting. It just says press shutter release button to reset. See, I landed on the camera with such a jolt that the shutter was now, or the mechanical shutter was now stuck down. A bit of investigation, I found out that it was basically going to cost me more to get the camera repaired than it was to buy a new Z50 body. So I used this opportunity to upgrade to the Nikon Z5 and chucked the little Z50 in a drawer in disgust to be forgotten about. The other day I opened the drawer to get the camera out because I needed a camera body to use in a YouTube video, just to stick it on a tripod and use it as an example. It didn't matter if the camera worked or not. I'd taken the battery out of the camera before I chucked it in the drawer, and the battery was fully charged. So I put the battery in, heard a click, the shutter went up and the camera appeared to work again. So I messed around with it, pressed the shutter button, and the error message came back intermittently. So I went into the menu on the camera and I found that if I switched the camera to the silent shutter or electronic shutter, the camera worked perfectly. So the way around this for me was to go into the photo shooting menu, go across, obviously scroll down, but keep going down, silent photography, that's the one we want. Right, so you can see that's off, so that is trying to use the mechanical shutter there. So if we click on that, go up to there, and that should put the silent shutter or electronic shutter on. So you can come out of the menu, turn the camera off, back on, messages gone, focus the camera, take a shot, leave that to display, and there you go, problem gone away. Well, it's not gone away. What it is a workaround that means that you don't have to use a mechanical shutter, which means you don't get that reset shutter button press message every time. I can live with that. The downside to this is the only thing that it doesn't seem to be able to do is long exposure noise reduction. And the reason I think that is the shutter's gone from being stuck down to luckily being stuck up. And when you're doing a long exposure and you've got the long exposure noise reduction switched on, what the camera does, it obviously takes, say, a 30-second exposure, and then it closes the shutter for a further 30 seconds. And then what it's doing is the processor is then comparing the noise in the dark frame image to the noise in the exposed correctly image, and then it's subtracting that noise from your image, so you end up with a cleaner image. Obviously, if the shutter's broken, mechanical shutter's broken, it can't do that. So what I've basically ended up with is a camera that works perfectly well for video, works perfectly well for time-lapse movies. The only thing it can't do is anything that involves using a mechanical shutter. And to be fair, this little workaround, or hack, whatever you want to call it, kind of works for me, because I was thinking about buying a camera to do B-roll, long exposure, like really long exposures, like 20-minute exposure. Wait for that noisy so to go past on his motorbike. To do really long exposures, something that I could set the ZF50 up, set it going, and do star trails for 20 minutes or something like that. And a 20-minute exposure, because you're using such a low ISO, you don't need to apply the noise reduction to it, so that works fine for me. So kind of what I've gained an accidental bonus is a time-lapse B-roll video, vlogging camera and very long exposure camera for free, so it can come back out of it can come back out of the drawer of shame and have a second life now. So obviously that little hack, workaround, it works for me. It might be worth a go if you're suffering from a similar problem. For me, it's turned a broken useless camera into a camera that has some use now, with a few limitations. So I will look forward to carrying on using the Nikon Z50. I actually love this little camera, and I did miss not having it working, to the point where after buying the Z5 I was tempted to repurchase a new Z50 body. Pretty happy with that little workaround, and hopefully it may work for you. Obviously it doesn't mend the camera, it just gives you a workaround so you can keep using what is still a broken camera, unfortunately. Thank you for watching.